Welcome to the True Elegance Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bunmi Akinkugbe, also known as Dr. B. Through solo episodes and guest sessions, we delve into the timeless qualities of style, grace, and sophistication and uncover what makes you truly elegant. So, sit back, relax, and let's get started on this empowering journey of becoming truly elegant. Hello, Elegant Tribe. Welcome to another episode of the True Elegance Podcast. And today I'm coming live to you from a different setup, but it's going to be a solo episode and just excited and looking forward to it. So today I just want to share a few thoughts. And as always, I love to hear back from you. I love your reviews, your feedback. So please keep them coming and be sure to share with me what resonates with you the most on this week's episode. Recently, I've been through some experiences and I've observed some things where individuals seem to just come into the limelight and they're doing amazing and fabulous stuff, and everybody keeps wondering, where have they been? How didn't I know about them? Why am I just getting to know about them? So sometimes I have a tendency to call this like the overnight success principle, but we all know that that never really happens. Nobody becomes a superstar, a celebrity, an influencer, or whatever you might call it. It doesn't happen overnight. Many times these individuals have been in hiding, kind of, not necessarily hiding, but they've been developing their skills, working on their skills, honing their skills, making mistakes, which some of us might not see. And then suddenly, they fine-tuned it, they figured out what works and what doesn't work. And then when they show up, they come out as the super perfect, refined version of themselves, even if it's not perfect, something close to perfect. And many of us are like, wow, that's amazing. Where have they been? What have they been doing? So today I'm coming to talk to you about, how to nurture our gifts and our talents, and how to develop them and see them grow. I have a few notes here, so you'll see me glancing to the side from time to time. I wrote a book a couple of years ago with the Trailblazer Femme group titled Living Boldly. And in that book, it's like an anthology, so various contributors contributed to the book, and the book is titled Living Boldly, How to Manage Your Life When Your Normal Shifts. So the shift could be a positive shift or a negative shift, and at such times of shift, it's always necessary to sit down and reassess and figure out how things are going and what you need to improve, maybe do more of, do less of, or continue doing the same if it's working out perfectly. So that book is on Amazon. I'll leave the link in the show notes today. But basically in that book, my chapter talked about uniqueness. And if you know me, if you've heard me before, I like talking about how each and every one of us is unique because God made each and every one of us uniquely. So in that chapter, I expand a lot about uniqueness, how to discover your uniqueness, nurture it, embrace it, and everything. So today's discussion too will have some elements of that and some other things put in here and there. But, I just want to talk about how we nurture our gifts and our talents. So sometimes gifts are defined as our natural, innate abilities, and many times it's God that put them in us. So some people can sing naturally, some people can speak naturally. Some people have this empathy in them, like they're just so empathetic towards people and they can carry people's burdens and everything on themselves. Some people have genuine love for children or animals or things like that. So whatever we are, whoever we are, we all have our unique gifts that God has put on the inside of us. Now, talents, on the other hand, are things which can be related to your gifts, or things which you fine-tune over time and you develop. So for example, if you want to learn how to play the piano, some people have the innate gifts, they learn it quick, they can play it well, they pick up sounds music so easily. I sing so many times during one of our vocal coachings. My coach has talked about having a musical mind, musical ears, and all of them. And sometimes, some people don't have it, and it takes training and developing those skills. So your talents are things that you can develop over time and improve and fine-tune them. An example right now is the way I'm talking to you. On a good day, I don't like, showing up in public, speaking in public, things like that. Not that I'm afraid of it, but if I don't have to do it, I don't want to. But in recent times with my job, I have to present so many times. I have to train people. I have to provide updates related to my job. And I hold a supervisory position, so I don't have a choice. I have to show up, I have to prepare, I have to speak. And with some of these things, because I've done it over a period of time, it's gotten better and better and better. Same thing like in my church, I do sing in the choir. With the podcast, I've been on it for almost 6 to 8 months now. And I believe I've seen a lot of improvements, sitting down either in this solo episode and sharing and talking to people, or when I do host my guests and, I ask them questions and we reflect on the topic we're talking about. So that just kind of shows that sometimes if you're interested in something, you can develop it, you can put in effort, you can get training, you can get coached, you can practice, and leads to improvement. And I don't believe in perfection, because at every level of perfection, there's always something more to do. So today I'm out here to encourage you that whatever gift or talent you have, you can develop it, you can improve on it, and make a positive impact in your environment. And gifts and talents are unique to each individual, just like we said. Sometimes some of it is determined by maybe genetic variation, you were born that way. Sometimes it's due to personal interest. Some of us are interested in maybe public speaking, or you're interested in fashion styling, or you're interested in maybe football, basketball, things like that. For example, one of my sons is like super crazy about basketball. And I don't know, I don't think he was necessarily born with the gifts, to be able to play basketball. But because of his interest, he has put in so much effort. Like, he watches so many basketball games, he watches their trainings, every opportunity he gets to practice, like he's on the basketball court, throwing hoops and all that, and constantly looking for ways to become an expert in that field. So sometimes your personal interest will drive what you're interested in. And that also boils back to, sometimes sitting down to reflect, like, what exactly are my interests? What brings me joy? What brings me satisfaction? What brings me that feeling of I'm doing something positive, both for myself and the community? Sometimes life experiences as well bring up opportunities for us to figure out what our gifts and talents are. Gifts that come up because we have it, or talents that drive us, to be able to say, okay, I'm interested in this, I want to do this. Sometimes our backgrounds to determine how we nurture our gifts and our talents. But there's always an opportunity for growth. There's opportunities to develop these gifts and talents, and the unique combination of gifts and talents. You might like fashion and at the same time like to help the less privileged, for example. So because of that, you might decide to put up a fashion show where you're dressing ladies, men, models, to showcase your fashion styling, showcase your gifts and everything, but you're using the proceeds from that event to sponsor kids who are in less privileged circumstances, maybe homeless kids or kids that are hungry. So sometimes there's some combination that can come from our gifts, talents, and our passions and interests that enables us to be able to nurture them and grow them and develop them. So, identifying your gifts and your talents can be very rewarding. And recently, I've been involved in what's it called? Like moderating panel sessions or hosting an event. I've noticed that such things come to me naturally and I enjoy doing them. So because of that, I've had random opportunities where folks are like, hey, Bunmi, come, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I don't just go there and just do it anyway. I do prepare for it. I think of the theme of the event I'm being involved in. I do my homework to prepare for the event and put some points in place. But when the time comes to host the event or moderate the panel, it's not a struggle for me because I think it's a gift I have, it's a talent I'm nurturing and building up, and I also put in the work to prepare for it. So that's an example of what I've seen lately. And also in other avenues, I've seen folks that had a vision about something. So maybe like a concert. There's a concert that I was just involved in recently. It's called the Hallelujah Challenge by Pastor Nathaniel Bassi. And, he had a vision, he had a word of prophecy. And beyond that, he put in the work. He started it as small as it could be in a small room with his phone and everything. And that has grown to be like a global phenomenon at this time where, thousands and millions of people all over the world are connecting with this vision to propagate it and even make it as big as possible because many people are seeing the impact that comes from it. So, there's so many examples like that. I'm sure you all, if you think for a moment, you can think of someone, or a mission, musicians all over the world to working on honing their skills. If you think of maybe tennis, Serena and all of them, all the players we know, but beyond thinking of the celebrities and the big influencer folks, my goal is to talk to everyday people at this time, about how we can start from where we are and see our gifts and talents grow, especially if it's something God has called us to do. When we take that step of faith and we step out and we start working on it, we open ourselves to feedback, feedback that will help us to fine-tune ourselves, open ourselves to coaching, mentoring, training. These gifts and talents that God has given us can grow and increase and become better and better and be a positive impact to everyone around us. So steps you can also use to keep discovering and fine-tuning your unique gifts and talents is items like self-reflection. So sitting through and just, sometimes journaling, reflecting, taking time to think through what works for you, what do you enjoy doing, and what impact will you like to leave in the world around you. Sometimes we don't have to think, I want to affect the whole world at the same time. Start with your home. Like, what are you doing with your family? How are they enjoying being a member of your family? If you're a parent, what impacts are you passing on to your kids? If you have a significant other, how are you making a positive influence in their lives so that they can also make a positive influence in yours? Thinking through those little steps that add up to become bigger things and everything. You can also pray about what gifts and talents God has given you, because sometimes people are confused and they really don't know. Like, you're just like, what am I good at? I don't know. So you can pray about it too, and God will reveal to you what gifts and talents He has given you. And when He does that, you don't just keep it to yourself and just be like, okay, I already know. You have to go beyond the revelation you receive in the place of prayer to walk through and practice some of those gifts and talents to continue to improve them. And another thing that helps is service. Service. helps a lot. Volunteering in your home, volunteering in your community, volunteering in organizations you're interested in. Like if you're passionate about keeping stray animals off the road, you can volunteer with a shelter and help them to take care of the animals. If you're passionate about education of the youth and of the kids, you can volunteer in after school programs and just be a substitute teacher or just be a helper in walking through these skills. And in the place of service and volunteering, you get to discover if it really falls in line with your interests, in which case you can take it further, or maybe it's really not something of interest after all, and then you can explore other opportunities. There's so much talk out there about monetizing your gifts, monetizing your talents and everything. And I'm not against that. God wishes above all things that we prosper and be in health. So prosperity is very scriptural, and we can only make an impact when it comes to some things when we're able to afford it or sponsor it or help out with it. So I'm totally not against monetizing your gifts or talents, but the question is, are people going to be interested in paying for what you have to offer? How refined is your gift? How beautiful is the talent you're sharing? If you're going to teach someone how to be confident in public speaking, have you showed up in camera? Do we see your speeches and your conferences or whatever showing that you've improved over the years or you're working on it? If you're going to be into elegance and fashion like me, even though my elegance is not just about the outward appearance, but the character that we develop on the inside. So for me, how do you see me? How am I showing up in true elegance? Is my character speaking to what I'm standing for? Am I a person of integrity and things like that? So, volunteering, providing service, looking for mentorship. There are folks in your field, in your area of interest that have done these things before. It comes back to the service as well. Volunteer to help them with what they're doing. And many people have been able to grow and become experts in their skills because they saw someone who was doing something they liked. They found an opportunity to draw closer to them. They served, and in that, they were able to get a few tips on how to improve and become better at what they do. I know sometimes these days, everybody wants the greatest celebrity to be their mentor. And unfortunately, those people cannot mentor everyone. So sometimes you just need to look around your circle, who is doing something that inspires you, and connects with them and start from there. If bigger opportunities open up later on, all well and good, go for it, and sometimes you have to do some trainings. There are a lot of trainings available online. There are in-person trainings. There are coaches that work in any field you can think of. And sometimes they say there are too many coaches out there. But when you think of physicians as well and the various specialties they're involved in, that's how I translate it to coaching as well. They're coaches for everything you want in life, and the impact of a coach cannot be overestimated. You can only understand it if you've had a coach. I've had coaches in various areas of my life. Recently, I've switched my fitness coach, and I've seen a lot of difference in the drive, the motivation, and the accountability that comes when you work with a coach. And sometimes, the coaching experience might not be for forever, but for that moment in time when you need that growth from the level you're in to the next level, it usually helps. So we're going to make it short and sweet today, but I hope I've been able to share with you various ways of nurturing your gifts, of developing your gifts and talents. Don't wait till everything is perfect. Do something now. Start from somewhere. Look for the help and the mentorship you need. There are various strengths assessments that are available online, like the Gallup strength. There's the character strength, VIA as well, there's some of those tools you can use to develop where your strengths are, where your skills are, where your interests are. The caution I want to put about that is don't necessarily let that label you, that you can only limit yourself to that. And that's where the experience you get from volunteering, serving, wherever you find yourself, definitely helps for you to continue to grow and become the better version of yourself. And then someday we're going to see you out there and see me out there and be like, wow, where did she come from? Where did he come from? But you wouldn't know all the work that has gone on behind the scenes to produce this beautiful, refined version of the person you're looking at. I'm Dr. B. I'm the host of the True Elegance Podcast, where we talk about the characteristics that make you beautiful from the inside out, looking at radiating elegant confidence, building your skills, owning your talents, and becoming a better version of yourself. Follow us on all social media platforms at the True Elegance Podcast, and listen live on audio podcasts like Apple, Spotify, and the others as well. And if this has resonated with you, leave a comment in the chat or a review about what resonates with you the most. Share with us your journey in developing and nurturing your gifts and your talents. What has worked for you and what hasn't worked? What lessons have you learned along the way? Well, until next time, I'll see you on the True Elegance Podcast. Stay beautiful and confident. Take care. Be sure to subscribe so you'll be the first to be notified of every new episode. Leave a review and share this podcast with that elegant lady in your life. This is a space where we can come together to empower and inspire each other and leave feeling elevated and enlightened. See you in the next episode.